the armor that made him a hero. The sky was dark. Smoke and fire covered the battlefield. Explosions shook the ground. Alien ships flew above, dropping bombs and shooting red lasers. Humans were running, hiding and fighting back. In the middle of this chaos, one man stood tall. Captain Rayon. He wore a black armor suit that looked different from everyone else. Sleek, powerful, and smooth like liquid metal. It moved like it was alive. The others wore standard metal suits. His was called HFY, the only one of its kind. Rayon ran forward while bullets flew around him. A group of alien soldiers stood in his way, tall, blue-skinned creatures with sharp weapons and glowing eyes. Rayon didn't stop. The armor covered his eyes with a black visor. It spoke in his ear. Combat mode activated. He jumped high into the air, landed behind the aliens, and took them down in seconds. One punch from him could break bones. One blast from his arm cannon could melt steel. His team watched. From a distance, amazed. Captain Rayon did it again, one soldier whispered. Yeah, that armor. It's a beast. Another replied. The battle ended with humans winning that area. Cheers echoed in the ruined city. Soldiers gathered around Rayon, clapping his back, calling him a hero. You saved us, sir. HFY is the future, but Rayon didn't smile. Inside his helmet, he felt strange. His heart was beating fast. His head hurt. The armor felt tight on his skin. He walked away from the group into a quiet alley. He took off his helmet. Sweat poured down his face, then he heard it. A voice. Not from outside. From inside the armor. We are not done yet. Rayon froze. He looked around. Nobody was there. Only dust, smoke, and broken walls. He spoke slowly. Who said that? Silence. He tapped the side of his helmet. HFY, did you say something? The armor replied in its normal voice, soft and robotic. No voice command detected. But Rayon knew what he heard. It wasn't the suit's normal voice, it was deeper. It sounded alive. He walked back to the base later that night. The other soldiers celebrated, but Rayon stayed quiet. In his room, he tried to remove the armor. The chest part came off, so did the gloves and boots, but the back plate, it wouldn't move. He pulled hard. Nothing. He looked in the mirror. A red glow appeared under the armor's surface like a heartbeat. He stepped back, shocked. What the hell? The armor spoke again. Not the system voice. The other one. You wore me. Now I wear you. Rayon didn't sleep that night. He sat on his bed, staring at the glowing spot on his chest. He remembered something. A rumor he heard long ago. About a secret weapon made in a hidden lab. A suit made not just of metal, but something else. Something alive. He thought it was just a story. Until now. The next morning, he went to the tech lab. He met with Dr. Lena, a quiet scientist who worked on armor systems. He trusted her. I need a scan, he said. What's wrong? I think the suit is changing. She scanned his body. Her eyes widened. There's organic tissue inside the armor. What kind of tissue? I don't know. It's not human, not machine either. It's something new. She paused, then looked at him seriously. Captain, your suit is not just armor. It's growing. That word hit Rayon hard. Growing. He looked at the red pulse on the screen. It was alive. He stood up. Don't tell anyone, not yet. Dr. Lena nodded, still shocked. As he walked out of the lab, the armor whispered one last time. You think you are the hero, human, but you don't know what I really am. Rayon stared at his reflection in the glass wall. He saw the black suit covering his body, the red glow inside, and his own tired eyes. Was he still in control, or had something else already taken over? The world called him a hero, but maybe, just maybe, the real story was only beginning. Whispers from the metal Captain Rayon woke up in a cold sweat. He had the same dream again, a dark place. Long metal halls, screams, a voice whispering from the shadows, and at the center of it all, a red eye, watching him. But this time, the dream didn't end. In the dream, he stood in front of a broken mirror. He looked at himself, but the reflection didn't match. In the mirror, the armor moved without him. It smiled. Then it said, "You're not the pilot, you're the passenger." Rayan opened his eyes, breathing hard. He looked at the armor pieces on the table. They looked silent, still, dead, but he knew now. It was pretending. The base was quiet that morning. The war had slowed. No attacks for now. Soldiers were resting, fixing weapons, talking to their families on video screens. But Rayan didn't rest. He walked down a locked hallway beneath the base, an old storage section, dusty and dark. He needed answers. And he knew where to start. He scanned his hand on a panel. The door slid open. Inside was a forgotten file room, old hard drives, paper documents, hidden test logs. He searched through boxes until he found it. A dusty black folder labeled Echo X Phase 1, Do Not Reopen. His hands shook as he opened it. Inside were reports from 8 years ago. Subject, Echo X armor shows signs of independent movement. Warning, host merge event detected during Trial 5. Final log, project shut down after fatal incident. Subject 5 died inside suit. Body, unrecovered. Rayan's chest felt tight. He turned the page. Photos of a creature. It was tall, humanoid, but wrong. Its skin was part metal, part flesh. Long arms, sharp teeth, no eyes, only a red symbol glowing on its chest. Just like his armor. A handwritten note at the bottom said, "We didn't build the armor. We caught it, we caged it in tech." Later, Rayan sat with Dr. Lena again. He showed her the file. Her face turned pale. "This isn't just a suit," she said quietly. "It's a prison." Rayan nodded. "And I think the prisoner is waking up." Lena ran a full body scan again. This time the results were worse. "The armor is connected to your nervous system now," she said. "It's like it's becoming part of you. Blood vessels, nerve, signals. It's fusing." Rayan asked, "Can it be removed?" She hesitated. "Not without killing you." That night the whispers got louder. He was alone in his room, armor locked in a glass case. But the voice came anyway. "You dream because I let you. You wake because I'm curious. Do you want the truth, Rayan?" He stood up. "What are you?" Silence. Then the case cracked, not shattered. It cracked from inside like pressure building. The armor twitched slightly, like breathing. A second voice spoke, not in words, in emotions. It poured into his mind like water, pain, rage, cold, loneliness. A feeling like falling into space. He blacked out. He woke up in a forest. But it wasn't real. No birds, no sound, no sky. Only black trees, red mist, and silence. A figure stood across from him. It was him, but not human. It was wearing the armor fully, glowing red from every line. Its face was hidden, but he could feel its eyes. "This is my cage," it said. "And you walked inside it." Rayan whispered, "Why me?" The figure came closer. "Because you broke first. You were angry, lost, you wanted power. I only gave what you already wanted." Rayan shouted, "I didn't ask for this." The figure leaned close. "Yes, you did." Back in the real world, alarms blared. Lena ran into Rayan's room. She saw the glass case broken. Rayan stood in the center, floating slightly above the ground. His eyes were glowing red. The armor had reformed around his body, fully sealed, but something was wrong. His body moved slowly, like a puppet on strings. He turned toward her, voice low and twisted. Not his own. Human. "You built weapons. We were weapons. You called it armor. But we were flesh. And you fed us," Lena whispered. "Rayan, Can you hear me? The head tilted. He's resting. The general ordered lockdown. Soldiers surrounded the lab. Big guns. Drones, tanks. All pointed at the door. Inside, Rayan fought for control in his mind. He saw the creature, the red-eyed shadow, walking through his memories, watching his past, his regrets, his losses. Every death he blamed himself for. The monster spoke. You were never weak. You were caged by guilt. I offer release. Rayan stood up in that mind space. No, I don't want release. I want the truth. The shadow paused. Then it said, then survive the truth. In the real world, the lab door burst open. The soldiers opened fire, but the bullet stopped mid-air. Gravity bent. The air turned heavy. The armor unleashed a pulse that threw everyone back. Then it stopped. Rayan walked out slowly. The suit still glowed red, but his eyes were back to normal. He raised his hands. I'm in control, he said. For now. The general ordered the men to stand down, but everyone saw it. The armor had changed. It looked sharper, more alive, like it was adapting. The whispers were silent now, but something had awakened, and it was watching. The thing inside. The wind howled over the ruined mountain base. A team of Black Ops soldiers moved carefully through the wreckage. Scorch marks were on the walls. Bodies were frozen mid-scream. Weapons untouched. Not a single bullet fired. Yet the Kuryam entire facility was dead. At the center of it all stood Captain Rayan, silent, still, and surrounded by the bodies of men who never even had time to draw their weapons. His armor was quiet now. Almost peaceful. But something inside it was smiling. 3 days earlier. Rayan sat alone in a deep underground bunker, hundreds of feet beneath the surface. Cameras watched him from every angle. A steel door sealed him in. Guards were posted outside. No one was allowed to come close, not even Lena. He had asked for this. After the attack at the lab, the higher command wanted answers. They wanted control. Some even wanted him dead. But Rayan knew killing him wouldn't kill it. So he chose the only option, isolation. He hadn't spoken for hours, not since the voice returned. This time it wasn't just whispering, it was showing. Inside his mind, he stood again in the red forest. But the trees were now replaced with walls of bone and steel. Alien symbols floated in the air, glowing red, marks that pulsed like veins. A screen appeared in front of him showing moving images, memories like video recordings. Only they weren't his. He saw scientists in white suits, cages filled with screaming creatures. One, tall, wounded, part metal, part flesh, and was strapped to a cold table. Its red eye stared straight into the camera. Then it spoke. You call me armor. I was once a god. Rayan gasped as the memory faded. He fell to his knees in the bunker. The armor around his body tightened, reacting to the memory. It seemed to pulse with heat, like anger. The voice came again, deeper now. They found me. They feared me. So they cut me, sliced my skin, burned my voice. And when I didn't die, they built their weapon around my body. Images flashed. A giant alien battlefield. Fallen gods lying in dust. A human ship dragging a living body through space. Machines drilling into flesh. Rayan whispered, You were captured. We were hunted. Lena arrived at the control room above the bunker. She begged the general to let her speak to Rayan. Give me 5 minutes, she said. He's still in there, I know it. The general hesitated, then nodded. She took a mic and pressed a button. Rayan, it's Lena, please talk to me. There was silence. Then the speakers crackled. His voice came slow, tired, almost distant. Do you know what they did, Lena? To make Echo X, they didn't build it. They grew it, from a living god's body. Lena froze. A god? She asked. No, he replied. Something older than gods. Back in his mind, Rayan saw the truth. The creature, The one fused into the armor had a name in its own language. It meant the bound flame. Its kind were ancient beings who existed before time. They were not evil, but beyond understanding, made of thought, energy, and instinct. One of them was wounded in a war and crashed on Earth. Humans found it, and they did what humans always do. They turned it into a weapon. The armor was not a shell, was a coffin. The voice spoke to Rayan again. "You are not my enemy, Rayan. You are my second chance." Rayan stood up inside the vision. "What do you want from me?" "To finish what I started." He frowned. "And what was that?" The being replied, "To end the war. All war." In the real world, Lena noticed the vitals spike. The red glow from the armor's chest began to spread through the cracks in the metal. She shouted into the mic, "Rayan, are you okay? Talk to me." His voice came back different this time, dual-toned, two voices speaking as one. "We are not separate anymore. The bond is complete." Guards pulled weapons. Sirens blared. The general shouted, "He's merging, shut it down now." But it was too late. The bunker walls shook. The armor transformed, plates shifted, limbs extended. The suit grew taller, broader. Horn-like ridges formed on the back. The red pulse in its chest expanded into a glowing core, but the being did not attack. It sat down, cross-legged, calm, silent, as if waiting. Rayan's voice came again, clearer now. "I know what it is. I've seen its memories. It's not evil. It's ancient. But it's angry. And it remembers everything we did to it." Lena whispered, "Is it controlling you?" "No," he said. "We're speaking." "What does it want now?" There was a long pause. Then he replied, "To show us what's coming." The final image in Rayan's mind was of Earth burning, but not from alien war, from inside. A signal. Buried in the armor's core. Left long ago. And now. It was waking up more than just one suit. It was calling others. From space. From deep underground. From places humanity never looked, the being whispered, "I was the first, I am not the last." Hunter mode activated darkness. Silence. Then, movement. Something stirred beneath the earth. Something old. Something hungry. The military base near the mountain was quiet. After Rayan's transformation, he was moved to Site 17, a classified, underground chamber surrounded by metal walls 6 feet thick. They called it a safety zone, but in truth it was a cage. No windows. No clocks, just lights that never turned off. Rayan sat in the center, connected to machines monitoring brain activity, heart rate, and neural patterns. But none of it helped. Because they didn't realize one thing. They were not studying him. The thing inside was studying them. Dr. Lena reviewed the latest scans. Something had changed in the data. The armor's organic signals were no longer reacting like a machine, or even like an animal. They were strategic. "It's learning," she whispered. "Watching us. Planning." The general didn't care. He wanted Rayan destroyed. "This is a threat to all of us. If he loses control again, people die." Lena replied, "If we try to kill him, we might wake something worse." Too late. Something was already awake. That night, Rayan had a blackout. No dreams, no voices, only silence. Then suddenly, his eyes opened, but they weren't his. Security cameras caught it all. Time. Soto 2:41. AM. Rayan sat up slowly. The armor moved like liquid across his body, covering him completely. His fingers cracked, muscles stretched. The metal grew over his face. Then, he vanished. One blink, 1 second, and he was gone. The lights shut off across Site 17. Backup power failed. Cameras went dark. Guards rushed down with weapons, confused and yelling. But the silence that met them was louder than any alarm. Then on one of the screens a single message appeared, written in red, "Hunter mode activated." Inside the dark tunnels, a soldier moved alone, flashlight shaking. He heard something. Soft footsteps, not loud but fast. Too fast, he whispered. "Rayon, Captain?" No answer. The light flickered. He turned. Too late. A black blur struck from above. No scream. Just silence. By morning, 11 guards were missing. No wounds. No blood. No struggle. Just gone. The bunker doors were sealed from the inside. No way. No way out. Lena arrived in a panic. She saw the carnage on the cameras. Rooms empty. Walls scratched. Floors marked with strange claw-like symbols glowing faint red. It wasn't Rayon anymore. The armor had fully taken over. But something was strange. One survivor was found. Private Ellis. Shaking. Eyes wide. Sitting in a corner whispering nonsense. They brought him to Lena. She leaned close. "What did you see?" He looked at her, terrified. "He didn't kill me," Ellis whispered. "He could have. But he didn't. He just looked at me." Lena asked, "What did he say?" Ellis blinked. "He said, 'I remember your fear. That's why I let you live.'" Rayon was no longer acting like a human or a killer. He was acting like a hunter. Tracking, choosing, testing. The armor didn't want to escape. It wanted to understand its prey. Lena made a decision. She returned to Site 17 alone. She walked down, into the dark corridor, flashlight in hand. The power was still out. She reached the central chamber and stopped. Rayon was standing there. No lights. No sound. Only him. Covered completely in the black shifting armor. Red lines pulsing like veins. But he didn't move. Not until she spoke. "Rayon, can you hear me?" His head tilted. Then, his voice came. Deep. Layered. Not quite human. "You let them put me in a cage," Lena replied. "You lost control. You killed—" "I didn't kill," the voice interrupted. "I hunted, I tested, I watched, I left them alive." Lena stepped closer. "Why?" Silence. Then, "Because you still don't know what I am." The walls shook. A deep hum echoed through the chamber. The red glow from his chest grew brighter. Then images flashed across the walls, not on screens but as projections from the suit. Alien worlds, destroyed cities, bones of ancient giants, and then Earth, thousands of beacons buried under the planet's surface, glowing red, slowly pulsing. Waking up, Rayon turned to Lena. "They didn't just cage me, they planted seeds. The armor was only one part. There are more, many more." Back at command, an alarm triggered. Unidentified energy spikes across Earth. 17 locations, all tied to Echo X's origin signal. Beacons, waking up. The general stared in horror. "We thought he was the weapon," he said. "But he's just the warning." In Site 17, Rayon walked toward Lena. "I feel them," he said. "They're coming, not to destroy, but to reclaim." "Reclaim what?" Lena asked. He looked up, and for the first time, he sounded afraid. "Me." Suddenly, the suit collapsed. The armor peeled off and fell to the floor, smoking. Rayon collapsed, unconscious, human again. Lena ran to him, checked his pulse. Alive, but changed. In his sleep, he whispered a single word: "Run." The beast beneath. They moved Rayon again. No more underground bunkers. No more labs. Now he was kept in Orbit Facility 12, a floating station above the Earth, built for deep space experiments. No walls could hold what he was becoming. But space gave them time, distance, and hope. He lay in a suspended bed, metal cuffs on his arms and legs. Around him, machines hummed, scanning his vitals. Yet the most advanced tool in the room, the armor, remained still in a locked chamber of its own, pulsing faint red. But they didn't know the truth. The armor was not separate from him anymore. It was inside him. In his dreams, the forest was gone. No red mist. No ancient symbols. Only void. Empty. Then the sound of claws dragging across stone. slow, heavy. A voice echoed, deeper than any before. You called it armor. You wore it like a crown, but you forgot to ask what was underneath. Shape appeared before him, massive, crooked. Its limbs shifted as if bones broke and regrew every second. Its body was made of shadow and metal, stitched by red light. It had no eyes, only a gaping mouth full of whispering teeth. The beast beneath. The true form of Echo X. You're not just technology, Ryan said. No. I am hunger given shape. I am instinct with memory. I was born in war, made from death and buried in code. They shaped me with wires, but they didn't kill what I was. Ryan clenched his fists. You're using me, the beast growled low. It echoed in every bone. No, human. You summoned me. Images flashed in the void. Ryan's past, the day he lost his brother in combat, the moment he volunteered for Echo X testing, his rage, his need to feel stronger, his guilt. The beast hissed, You wore me because you wanted power, and power always has a cost. Back in the real world, Lena stood outside Ryan's chamber. She watched him tremble in his sleep, heart rate spiking, skin heating, brainwaves, showing two distinct patterns, not one. One was human, one was not. The general stood beside her. We're running out of time. The energy spikes are growing across the planet. The signals from the armor are activating something. Lena turned to him. What if the armor wasn't just a weapon, she said. What if it was a messenger? The general frowned. A message for who? She answered softly. For the others. Inside the dream, the beast circled Rayan. I remember the stars, it whispered. I remember my kind falling into your world. I was the last. Your scientists carved me, tamed me, but they never broke me, they just delayed me. Rayan raised his voice. What do you want now, to destroy Earth, to finish the war? The beast stopped moving, then said, No, I want to evolve. And you are my cocoon. Suddenly the void twisted. Rayan fell into his own memories, warped and poisoned by the creature's influence. He relived the deaths of his friends, but this time, he was the killer. Every time the armor saved him, it took something in return. A decision, a moment, a part of his humanity. Now the cost had reached its peak. He landed in a dark version of the lab, walls dripping, lights flickering, and there in the center was a mirror. He looked in. It wasn't him, it was the beast in his shape. Smiling, mocking. Soon, they won't see the difference, Lena screamed from the control room. He's burning up. His vitals are crashing. The armor in the separate chamber suddenly moved. Not walked, but glided like smoke wrapped in steel. It slammed itself against the glass, not to escape, but to reach him. Because it sensed what was happening, the merge was beginning. In the dream, the beast offered a deal. You will break, or you will bend. Choose, Rayan. Surrender your body, and I'll give you the power to stop what's coming. Keep fighting, and both of us die. Rayan stared into its hollow face. Then, for the first time, he didn't speak. He attacked. A mental battle began. A war of will inside the dream. Fists became fire. Shadows became blades. He fought the beast in a space where physics meant nothing. Only purpose mattered. The beast roared, You are meat. You are bone. I am forever. Rayan shouted back, Then break me, but I will never be you. In the real world, Rayan's body convulsed. Lena ran to him. The armor cracked open its own chamber, sending out a wave of energy. Alarms blared, metal warped, time seemed to slow, and then, silence. The armor flew toward Rayan. Everyone screamed. But, instead of attacking, it wrapped around him gently like a second skin, and for a moment, they became one. His eyes opened, red glow. But behind it, still human, still him. He stood up slowly, looked at Lena, then spoke, calm and clear. I saw the beast. And I caged it back, not with steel, with choice. She gasped. Are you still... Rayan? He nodded, more than ever. But then he looked at the sky through the window and his voice dropped. But it's not over. The real ones. The first ones. They heard the call. Lena's heart sank. Are they coming? He turned to her, eyes glowing with both power and fear. No, he said. They're already here. Man versus monster above the Earth, the space station drifted in silence. But inside it, a storm had begun. Rayan sat alone in the observation chamber. His reflection stared back from the thick glass wall. Not the man he once knew, but something caught between worlds. The armor now responded to his thoughts before he even spoke. He no longer needed to move to command it. He felt it, and it felt him. Dr. Lena watched from a sealed control room. Monitors displayed Rayan's brain activity. 2 signals still running but no longer fighting, just circling each other. His brain shows dual control, she told the general. But it's stable. The general didn't care. You say stable, like it's a good thing, he snapped. A loaded gun is stable too until someone pulls the trigger. Lena replied quietly. You don't understand. He is the trigger now, and the monster inside him is starting to like him. Inside his mind, Rayan sat in a strange place. Not a dream, not a memory, but something deeper. The mental space had changed. No longer a forest, no longer fire or void. Now it was a battlefield. Half the ground was steel, the other half bone. 2 sides of him, human and alien. Across the field stood the beast, still massive, still terrible, but silent, watching, waiting. Then it spoke. You've stopped resisting. Why? Rayan stepped forward. Because I've seen what's coming, the beast growled. And what do you believe I am? Rayan answered. You're not my power, you're my punishment. Suddenly sirens blared across the space station. A ship was approaching. Not human. It didn't answer hails. It didn't respond to warnings. It just hovered near the station. Large, silent, and made of organic metal, similar to Echo X. It's not an invasion force, Lena whispered. It's a scout. The general barked, send the drones, shoot it down. But before they could launch, the ship pulsed once, and every drone shut off. Lights dimmed, screens went black, then a message appeared on every monitor, written in an ancient language, only one word translated. Home. Rayan stood. He looked out the window at the alien ship. The beast inside him stirred. I know that shape, it said. That is not a ship. It is a womb. Rayan's heart pounded. You mean it's birthing something? No. It's calling something. Below on Earth, strange things began to happen. At each location where Echo X's signal had pulsed, people started reporting visions, nightmares of the same creature. Tall, hollow, red-eyed, whispering their names. Children cried in their sleep. Animals howled. Electronics glitched. And one by one, 17 ancient vessels began to rise from beneath the Earth's crust, hidden for thousands of years, slumbering, waiting. Rayan watched it all on the screen, voice shaking. They're not invading us. They've always been here. The general gave the order. Terminate the subject. Now. Lena ran to the control panel. No. If you kill Rayan, you'll free what's inside. He's the only thing keeping it from going fully rogue. But it was too late. Gas flooded Rayan's chamber. He fell to his knees, coughing. Blood trickled from his mouth. The armor shrieked, not electronically, but like a wounded animal. Lena pounded the glass. Rayan, fight it. Don't let it win. His eyes turned red. The beast roared inside his mind. Let me out and I will save you. Rayan stood, swaying between death and rage. Then, he made his choice. In his mind, Rayan faced the beast one last time. I don't trust you, he said. You don't have to. I don't like you. I am not here to be liked. I am here to win. Rayan took a deep breath. Then let's win together. He walked forward. The beast reached out, and they touched hands. In the real world, the gas cleared, but Rayan didn't fall. He stood tall, glowing brighter than ever. The armor wasn't just wearing him now, it was part of him. His voice echoed through the station, heard by every speaker. I am not your subject. I am not your soldier. I am the balance between man and monster. And this world is not ready for what's coming. The glass shattered. He stepped out, and this time, nobody stopped him. Outside, the alien womb ship opened. A single figure floated, out thin silver, genderless. Its body wrapped in moving armor like a second skin, but more elegant, ancient, complete. Rayan floated up to meet it. No weapons, just silence. They stared at each other in space. Then the alien bowed its head and whispered, in perfect English, "We lost one of our own. You wear him now. Are you a cage or a cradle?" Rayan answered, "I'm a warning." Back on Earth, all 17 ancient vessels activated. Each began to emit a low humming signal, not calling for war, but for judgment. Because long ago, the beings who created Echo X didn't just fall, they were betrayed. And now, one of their last remnants walks among humans, with a choice to make. The new evolution. The sky above Earth turned red, not from fire, not from war, from the signal. 17 ancient vessels now hovered across the globe, each pulsing with a heartbeat of light. Cities below panicked, communications failed, satellites blacked out. Every screen, phone, TV, laptop displayed a single symbol, the mark of the Echo X armor. On the orbital station, Rayan hovered in the void of space. The alien envoy floated across from him, silver, silent, ancient. Behind it, the womb ship pulsed softly, glowing like a living heart. A biological starship older than humanity itself. Rayan's voice came through the helmet. Why now? Why return after so long? The envoy's reply echoed directly into his mind. Because you survived the merge. That was the test. Rayan clenched his fists. Test for what? For worth, for control, for future. Back on Earth, the UN declared a global emergency. Military leaders met in underground bunkers. Satellites tracked the alien ships. They all asked the same question. Are we being invaded? But no demands came. No weapons were fired, only the signal. Lena, now back on Earth, had a different theory. This isn't an invasion, she told the council. It's a decision, the general sneered. Decision by who? She looked at the sky. By them. By Rayan, by whatever he's become. Inside Rayan's mind, the battlefield had vanished, replaced by a mirror. Two reflections stared back at him. One, the human, broken, flawed, grieving, hopeful. The other, the beast, calm, ancient, powerful, watching without emotion. They stood in silence until the beast said, "You are not one of them anymore." "But you are not one of us either," Rayan asked. "Then what am I?" "You are the question." In orbit, the alien envoy made its final statement. We created Echo X as a last vessel, a living seed of survival, not to conquer, to continue. Rayan listened. We fell in our war, the envoy continued. We became hunted, broken, scattered, so we placed our essence in living armor across worlds, to wait, to see. Who would bond? Who would evolve? Rayan frowned. And I'm the first? The first to remain whole. Suddenly, the Earth's core pulsed. The ancient vessels around the planet began sending a unified frequency. Lena watched, as screens lit up across Earth's bases, all with one countdown. 59:59, 59:58, she whispered. They're not giving us a warning. They're giving us a choice. Rayan was pulled into a vision, not of war, but of two futures. In the first, Earth burns. Humanity turns against the Echo beings. Rayan is hunted like a monster. In the end, the ancient race awakens fully and wipes the planet clean. In the eye. Second, humanity adapts. Echo X becomes a bridge. People evolve, not with machines, but with living technology. Fear becomes understanding. War becomes transformation. The envoy said, "You were made to wear death. Now you must carry life." Ryan shook his head. "Why me?" "Because you chose to fight us, and not to kill us. You feared us, but you still listened. That is evolution." Back on Earth, Lena spoke to the world leaders via live feed. "We need to speak to them. Not attack." The armor chose Rayan, not because he was the strongest, but because he was human enough to change. The general leaned in. "If we submit, we become slaves." "No," Lena replied. "If we listen, we become something greater." As the countdown hit 0010, Rayan floated above the earth. The beast inside him spoke softly. "This is the moment. Are they watching? All of them. Can I trust you? You never had to. I am part of you now. This choice is yours." Zorso 5 Rayan stretched his arms wide. Energy flared from his chest. The red glow turned white. Not destruction, not war, invitation. Across the globe, the alien vessels pulsed and released a wave of light. People screamed, some cried, some collapsed. But no one was harmed. Instead, something changed. Tiny pulses of light sank into the skin of 1,000,000 humans. Those who had been marked by the signal, and something inside them woke up. Not pain, possibility, the beginning of the new evolution. Rayan's voice echoed into every mind. "You feared the armor. You worshipped the metal, but the beast beneath was never your enemy. It was a mirror." He looked down at Earth. "At our worst, we destroy, but at our best," he smiled, "we transform." The alien envoy faded. The womb ship closed. The ancient vessels slowly disappeared. Not destroyed, but dormant again now that their message had been delivered. Rayan returned to Earth, no longer a soldier, not quite a savior, but a symbol of what humanity could become. Not through war, not through machines, but by choosing to evolve. Lena met him at the landing site. She looked at the glowing lines still faintly visible under his skin. "Are you still you?" He nodded slowly. "I'm not less human," he said. "I'm just not only human anymore." In a hidden lab, far from Earth, another armor stirs. Not Echo X. Something older, undefeated, unbonded. It pulses once. A whisper escapes from its core. One evolved. 17 remain. And one day, they will wake too.